guys, and welcome to a screen recording video of my discussion on Tommy Pham and his suspension. So let's get into it. Now, obviously, you know I'm a Reds fan, so I'm a big Reds fan in many ways. We're just gonna drop through all of his highlights, and we're gonna just kind of talk about it. So he's a big contact guy, but basically what I want to get through this today is his suspension. So all the details haven't came out yet about what happened, but basically he got in a fight with Josh Donaldson even before the game, not even before the bat hit the ball yet. It was before the game, and he got in a fight with Josh Donaldson, and he got suspended for 3 games. Now as I said, all the context hasn't came out about that, so I don't know everything about it yet. Like, I don't know if he basically he was just mad about, I don't know if he said something or if he was talking about his previous comments, because he's kind of like a flashy guy, so maybe something happened with that. I mean, it could be a lot of things, but knowing Tommy, like, during the games and even during the season, thank you to iTalk Sports, iTalk Sports, his video about Tommy Pham, and he said, according to him, that he knew the Reds weren't going to be good this year, and he just wanted to focus on the stats, which, if you want to get a good year, great. Like, I don't disrespect that at all. I think you should always strive for you to do good. But he was kind of being like, well, I need to be on a bad team to get good stats because the division in general isn't good this year and hasn't been good in past years even. So, in general, it's just a hard thing. I mean, because you want to be good. You want your team to succeed, but that was kind of an outlet for him to go so he could get good stats. But thank you to iTalk Sports. That's his video. You can go check that out. I'll probably leave that in the description. So, yeah, I think honestly, just getting through whatever this debacle is, whatever this is, I don't really know, and I'll try to explain this in part 2. If I'll probably have a more in-depth part 2 come out tomorrow. Just knowing what this debacle is, because I don't think that this should be in baseball. Obviously, competitive sports in general are competitive, but Tommy Pham, obviously, is super liking to hit home runs, and he wants to do good, and I don't disrespect that at all. But if I can I'm gonna try to find an article that I can read to kind of figure it out myself too, because I'm not really Okay, so here is basically what happened. Okay, so this is off of website. Okay, so after slapping Joc Pederson over fantasy football argument. Like, come on, guys. Like, it's baseball. Like, I know y'all have arguments about different things, but, like, fantasy football, dude, that's not even the same sport you're playing. Like, come on. It would be different if you're talking about, oh, well, you are getting 20 points and I'm only getting 5. That's so unfair. And then you say, well, I'm better than you, or blah, blah, vice versa. This is not even the same sport you're playing. This doesn't make sense in general. Yahoo Sports, that's what it's on. But anyways, I mean, come on, Tom. You gotta be better than that. It's like, dude, you can't come out here and say, oh, well, fantasy football. That's not even the same. Here's the video on it. But, like, come on. Like, that's not even the same sport you're playing. What's the point of that? So yeah, I just don't get it, because it doesn't make sense of you trying to oops, that leaked. You trying to do all these things, and then it doesn't even come in your it doesn't come in your side of what you think, because Joc thinks, oh, maybe this, and maybe most likely you all disagree and argue. But like, the thing that makes no sense to me is that's not even your sport you're playing. Like, it would be different than saying exactly what I said, which is that sometimes you get in fights. Maybe it would be physically, verbally, whatever. I think it was a little bit of both. But in general, I just think that, I mean, it's not even the same sport you're playing, so that doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't think that should be happening. Obviously, baseball is a big sport, and obviously, even around the world, it's a big sport. But like, you shouldn't be fighting about that. I mean, it's not like it's you're fighting for your playoff spot and they didn't give you enough points or something. Like, it's not your sport, first of all. Second of all, it's not even real. It's not a real game. And third of all, that type of argument is such, like, come on. If y'all are going to argue about something, don't argue about fantasy football. Like, I know there's a lot of, it's obviously fun, but come on. Like, that's not something that you should argue about. Like, and what does it matter? Like, are you in the same league? Like, dude, come on. But that's just my whole take on this debacle. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it should be happening in Major League Baseball. I don't think that it's not even describing what your sport is. It shouldn't be something people should be fighting about mentally or physically. Like, come on, dude. You're making like millions of dollars to play the game you want to and the game you've grown up to play, and y'all are fighting about fantasy football? Come on, dude. Like, that's just, I don't think Joc, honestly, Tommy kind of slapped him about it, which I don't think Joc deserved that at all. I don't think he really started it. I think Tommy started it. Tommy, obviously, you're one of my favorite players on the Reds, but you know, after that video, I kind of got a little upset. But dude, come on, you're making millions of dollars to play the game you love and the game you've grown up to play, and y'all are fighting about fantasy football. Who cares? Like, I know it's a big game, but it's not like it's like a real game, because you're just playing for fun. But then Tommy or whoever in general has to figure out a way to make it in a way that sounds bad. I love Tommy. I think Tommy's a great baseball player, obviously, as you see in these highlights. He hits homers like crazy, and he's an absolute great contact hitter. But like, dude, just here's what I think. If you fight over fantasy football, you don't care enough about the game you're playing, because if you cared enough about it, you wouldn't even talk about it. Now, if I don't really care if you talk about it, but if you get in a fight about it, or if you start fighting about it, then you don't care enough about the game. I don't think that qualifies if you're just talking about it and having fun, or just saying, hey, blah, blah, he's playing really good. Well, I mean, and that's like, but if you start the fight and start arguing about it, like, that doesn't make sense. Honestly, I don't think Joc should be suspended for this. I think Tommy, it shouldn't be 3 games. I think it should be 2, but, yeah, honestly, I just think Tommy sometimes gets a little overheated about some things that he shouldn't be. But yeah, that's my whole take on this Tommy Pham versus Joc Pederson debacle. I don't think it makes sense. So, and I think changes should be made in the whole MLB organization, Major League Baseball. I just don't think that they should be fighting about this. So that's my take on this debacle. I'll come out with a more in depth probably tomorrow or probably Monday. I'll have a more in depth part of this. So, all right, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.